In March 2024, I travelled via local buses the entire length of England from Berwick-upon-Tweed to Land's End. I arrived into Land's End on the 26th of March, which is the awareness day for epilepsy, and known to many as Purple Day. People are encouraged to wear purple to raise awareness of the condition. The trip became fondly known as the Purple Day Busathon. I'm raising funds for the Epilepsy Society, and the details can be found in the description below. As I wiggled my way down the country, I wanted to showcase some of the outdoor activities you can do with epilepsy and the places you can get to without a car. Walks while camping, indoor skydiving, canoeing, and I also embraced my fear of rivers, walking across the Severn Bridge and alongside the river for a few miles. It was truly humbling, at times hilarious, very soggy, and built some much needed confidence. Anyhow, this is how it all went down. Well, good morning, happy campers. I have not really slept very well at all, but I have been quite comfy and warm here, so I cannot really complain. I think my sleeping bag and sleep setup is really good for side sleepers and front sleepers, but as I said last night, I sleep in the recovery position, kind of. Or a variation of, and I just couldn't get into that position in this sleeping bag, so I just wonder whether the other sleeping bag I've got is just better all round for that. But we'll just have to see, because I mean I do like the sleeping bag. I was worried that it was going to be a bit too cold, and what happened was when I was repositioning, you could definitely feel the cold air on the outside, but quickly warmed up again, so it's almost like the down repositions itself, and maybe there's a few gaps between the stitching, but actually it was really good. And sorry about the noise, it's blowing a hoolie out there and it's raining. I don't know how hard it's raining actually. It doesn't sound like it's absolutely pouring hard, but it's clearly a grim old morning outside, and it's, I don't know if I mentioned, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, or coming up to 6, so I'm thinking I'm going to try and just shove everything into my rucksack and then strap my tent above where the drawstring is, and hopefully the lid will go over the top. I think that might be a better idea, certainly just to get off this hill, get off these moors, and then kind of reevaluate when I get to Manchester and just unpack everything and let everything dry out and stuff. It was a really claggy night, so I think a lot of things absorbed a lot of moisture, so you'll have to have a good old kind of, yeah. I am feeling quite perky, considering. I will see how I feel when I actually have to get out in a minute and spend a penny and start to get going. I'm very tempted not to change my clothes at all, because actually these are the cleanest clothes I've got. So yeah, perhaps I will try and keep these on. So I'm making all those random decisions. I am not in the mood for breakfast, so I'm deciding whether I really need to force myself to eat that. I think we all know the answer to that. I think we all know that I really ought to try and have some breakfast, but I'm not in the mood. I just want to get off. But yes, I think as soon as it's light, I just want to get off this, pack up and go. But I know the reality is it's okay if a fell runner goes past, as long as if I spend a penny before that happens. So I think I want to make sure that I get all the important stuff like that done before it gets too light. But otherwise, I think it's a case of just pack up, and I just feel like I've got so much stuff. Even though I don't really, it's just complicated stuff. I just like it when there's only a few bags and you just shove it in, whereas I've got a few too many bags and the cook stuff. But I knew I would save money by cooking my own food later on down the trip, so because I can't be affording to spend like £25 every day on food. So it is what it is. I don't think that's what's causing most of the bulk. I think it's the perhaps the little bit of everything. I reckon I could probably shave off about 500 grams, which isn't a great deal actually in the great scheme of things. Or perhaps reposition everything in the bag. Anyways, I'm rabbiting on, and I'm praying that I will just be able to get this packed up without having a meltdown, because I'm tired and grouchy. I think a lot more grouchy than I sound at the minute. So yes, we'll see. Maybe I'll show you what it's like outside in a minute. It's not actually that bad outside. Once you're out and moving, it's actually quite mild. However, I am going to hunker up, but you can get some lovely views. It's actually better than it was yesterday when I put the tent up. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more claggy, because obviously spending a penny, I was worried that trail runners were going to fly by, but all was well. Oh, there's the things you have to think about. See, lovely people, all my porridge is gone. I didn't like it. I put a little bit of unrefined brown sugar on it, just a little, and it definitely took the edge off the taste. However, yeah, mean eating is just not good, but it was less repulsive than what I had last night. And although I nearly threw up a minute ago, actually I know that I will feel a lot better in half an hour or so once I've got going, and once that's settled a bit. I think I needed that, even if initially my body's like, no. So anyway, it is literally blowing a hoolie, and it's time for me to get going, I think. What time is it? Yeah, 7:15, so I'm hoping to leave by 7:30. Oh, and that's my alarm. Yeah, so I'm hoping to leave by 7:30. So if I can get all packed up in the next 20 minutes and then give myself 20 minutes to pack the tent down, and then I should be off. And then there's a bus at 9:30, but they're fairly frequent, I think, going into the next stop, so I am not too worried about that. Yeah, the journey today is not as pressured, but still would rather get going, I think. Yeah, definitely. Alright, time for me to crack on, I think. Well, everybody, I am all packed up. Leave no trace. Can't even tell that I was there. Not even a flat bit of grass, because it was so lumpy bumpy. I've checked for legs. It's a really blustery old day, and look, I am absolutely overloaded with stuff. But actually, once it's on my back, it's all right. I think I'm just quite tired, but I'll give you a view. You can see all that cloud rolling. That would make quite a nice time lapse, but hey, wanna crack on. Yeah. Oh man. Time for the walk back. Oh, that was fresh. Aye. Need to sort the trousers out. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a soggy one, I think, getting back. But hey, such is life. Yeah, so my microphone is in the bag, because obviously it's raining and you can't use them anyway, because it's electronics that aren't waterproof, so I don't want to ruin my mics any more than I have already. So the sound probably will be a bit iffy, but I'll see what I can do when I get home with it, which is what it is really. Oh, I forgot about this hill. Whew. Just gonna get the blood flow going this morning. Whew. I am so wise. That breakfast, even though I did struggle to get it down, I know that I'm perky now because of having that. And I tell you, putting that tent away was exhausting. So yeah, goodbye camp spot. Thank you very much for a lovely night. Oh, I knew there was a cave there. Probably see that in the distance. I'm not going to have a look. Sorry, want to crack on. Perhaps I will be a better vlogger tomorrow or later on today. I think it's going to be soggy getting down. Oh, right, I will see you anon, hopefully a bit further along. Oh wow, yeah, it has got muddy overnight. Right, try not to fall on my backside. It's going to be a soggy one. Oh, I forgot about this bit. One. Oh. Right, turn you off and concentrate. You got this, love. I've got to a bit of a sheltered spot, although I can see the rain is coming onto the screen. Warrendown Knots is where I was camping by, and a goodbye Warrendown Knots, and I'm just heading up this way. I've got a bit of an up to go, so I'll have to pace that out. But yeah, I think there's my favourite little hill that I saw and thought, oh, that'd make an interesting wild camp spot. And maybe once I've tested out the nature hike Cloud Up 2, which is what I was sleeping in last night, maybe once I've tested that out in some gnarly weather, see what it's capable of. But I imagine it's going to be truly 3 season, so not loads of wind, whereas my Wild Country Helm 1 is built very sturdy, so it just means that I mean I've had that in 50-mile-an-hour winds. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, because although it survived perfectly well, in that kind of wind you might get hairline fractures on the poles, because they're not designed for that amount of wind really. So I probably would try and avoid it. Yeah, I probably want a one hoop wonder, as I call it, or something of that ilk, just to have a bit more wind protection. They're just designed for 4-season use. So I mean, I wouldn't call that necessarily a summit camp, but I bet that can really get some epic wind. It did get a bit windy at night, but it was really cool because it was really quite still, but then it would come through really windy, but it was really mixed. It was really interesting. I've not had weather quite like it. Not very consistent, however. Yeah, everything's a bit wet and soggy at the minute, but I feel quite dry, so my waterproofs are doing the job. And I've got pit zips, so if I overheat, I should be able to dump that fairly easily. So I think I've got life way more sorted than I feel like at the minute. Just everything feels a bit of a slog, but hey, I will decide to go gallivanting all over England with a huge pack on my back. So yeah, having to live with my life choices. And actually that hill wasn't too bad. I think all that exercise yesterday and also last week in preparation just really easing it up has made quite a big difference. And also I've packed this bag quite sensibly, so although the tent is up there, it's only the tent outers, if that makes sense. The poles are on the side, equaling out all of the weight, that's what I'm trying to say. So happy days really, just enjoying the energy of this moorland, although I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking, God, I've got quite a way to go. However, I'm coming back here again, perhaps with a little more focused kit and not so much toiletries. Well, this is lush. I've got serious gate appreciation here. I'm actually not that far now. Look, there's the quarry area on the other side of the valley. I was worried that I was walking all the way over those hills too, but no, progress. I don't know whether I'll make this 9:30 bus. I'm just going to be chilled today. I just had a really nice prayer session, and I've been trying to keep up with that kind of habit of just taking time out in the mornings to just have a quiet time, because yeah, I'm a fairly strong Christian, I'd like to think so anyway, and I think, as I was saying, routine is important even on a trip like this, and it just really helps me to keep focused, because yeah, I was saying about being grounded and about living a bit more in the moment. I think it definitely helps that and gives a bit of perspective. But I like this, it's going down. Woo! Yeah. I'm just hoping it's not too muddy though, otherwise I will be sliding down on my bum. And Gus at the back there, don't know if you can see him, he's going to look a bit worse for wear, I think, by the end of the trip. Oh, and look, there's Settle. You can see some houses. Wow, progress. It looks like I'm about to walk off a cliff. However, I am encouraged that this is a way marked way. Oh, I don't like this. I know it's going to be fine. We just see this. Yeah, this is alright. Whoa, that's where I joined it down. Okay, yikes. That is very much down. I'm so glad I didn't walk up this yesterday. Bye. Yeah. Well, wish me luck. So that down there is where the signpost that I passed yesterday that sends you up this really steep hill, but I'm going to go the slightly kinder route, I think. I mean, it just looks ever slightly less steep and it goes in that direction. So I am making good progress, and I think I should make, I will make the 9:30 bus, because it's not even 9 o'clock yet. I think it's about 9:15. So I wouldn't have thought it would take me 45 minutes to get down there and to settle. I would have thought about half hour. So take a steady plod down and just try and concentrate on my footing. It is still steep down here. Okay. So I am just walking in to settle, and along this nice track that I came up yesterday, and it's 10 to 9, if maybe a little later than that now. So I've got plenty of time to get down, another 40 minutes. So that's been really perfect timing, considering I thought I was being really faffy. I made breakfast and packing up the rucksack and stress of all that. So I have made good progress. So yeah, happy about that. I think the next time you'll hear me speak is probably in Manchester, I may well do some footage of some buses, but I don't think you're all here to have a look at buses. So yeah, I can hear the wind, so I know that you can. Here's hoping I can fix my mic in Manchester or work a solution. I've also realised that I'm going to run out of memory, and I've got a GoPro subscription, so I was hoping I could upload everything to the cloud as I went. But what they don't tell you is that you can't use hotel Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi that you have to sign into like that, so like cafes or anything. So that means that I'm going to struggle, and I'm going to need to get another memory card. So I'm trying to work out if I can order one on Amazon and have it delivered to one of the places that I'm staying at, because I think I've got another couple of days worth on my memory cards. But yeah, another logistical challenge, but hey, embrace it all. It's really difficult. I do obviously more day trips or very short trips, so I wasn't sure how much memory or how much I would chatter on during the trip, but yeah, I'll have to make sure I take some more memory, I think, next time. But yeah, look, plodding down and gradually getting there, and I think I can see a dog walker, so I'm definitely hitting civilization. But I will love and leave you and see you in Manchester. Well, hello everybody, I have made it to Manchester and I am just charging things and letting things dry out, because the journey here was absolutely sodding wet. Although I was on buses most of the way, if there was a change or the walk from the bus station at Trafford in Manchester, Old Trafford in Manchester I think, over here, yeah, it was pouring harder rain, so literally everything's soaked, and obviously my tent and everything was soaked anyway from this morning, so I am going to try and tidy up a bit and go through kit. I have about 3 hours, let's see what the time is, 1:30, yeah, so about 3 hours before I think I want to head out, get some food from, probably there's a Wetherspoons up the road, or that will do me, and then head off to the indoor skydiving place. I do want to wash my clothes and hopefully have some of those dry by this evening, so I'm going to crack on with that. So probably chores for the next hour or so, and then I'm hoping to have some downtime. There's the SpaceX rocket program, the space Starship, they're doing another integrated flight test. That's what people are calling it, but basically it's the booster of the ship and the ship itself doing a test together. They've done tests separately, but they're doing them together. So I want to catch up on what's going on with that, and also there's a volcano that I keep an eye on in Iceland, and that's due to erupt soon, so I'll check out the local data for that and work out where the ground deformation's at. I lead a wild life, let's just say that. I think what it is because I've been at home over the winter so much and I've just not wanted to sleep, I've needed to find something that interests me but that isn't brain taxing in any way, shape or form. And I find seismographs brilliant because it engages my scientific brain, but it also is very mindless. You could easily have it running for an hour and you see a little dip and all of a sudden everything's so exciting, but it's not really. But it, you know, it's something to look at. I'm not sleeping, I'm not making my brain hurt, it's not mental energy. So I've been really pleased. And also it's the same with the Boca Chica site with SpaceX. So I mean I do like kind of unusual aircraft. I do I wanted to be a Sea Harrier pilot, so I think it was the engine, the fact it can go up and sideways and all that. So I like technology that's on the cutting edge. So I think that's one of the reasons why that it caught my attention. But also on a similar thread, they do web live streams on YouTube, live, literally seeing rockets being built, and there's just nowhere on Earth thus far that's so open in building rockets, and I like their engines. So I am quite into that a lot more than I probably should admit to. But yeah, so I kind of try to figure out what's going on with the latest SpaceX stuff without going too nerdy about it. I am not a rocket engineer, but I know way too much about rocket engines than I should admit to, that's for sure. And in fact, I'll show you something. So one of the reasons why I got this bottle was because it's got a sloth on it, which is my YouTube channel. It's purple, so it fits the Purple Day theme, and it's got a rocket on it. That one's going down. That's not good. Oh, so is that one. Yeah, we don't want rockets going down. But yes, so I thought if there was ever a water bottle that summed up me right now, that would be it. It's a nice size. It's a kid's one, but it's fun, and it's been really fun with the YouTube stuff to have a sloth, purple, and a rocket. Everything I want in life. So yeah, I feel like it's been quite a successful 24 hours or so. Yesterday was really hard going on me, but yeah, I'm looking forward to just drying everything out, cleaning myself up, and just freshening up, ready for this evening. And yeah, bring it on. Oh, so I am having an absolute mare of an evening. I was hoping to have some chill time before the skydiving session. However, I reviewed some of my plans and went through just checking through emails, and I've got a folder that's got about 370 something like that emails for this trip. I think that sums up how much organisation is going into this, and I've realised that I didn't see a booking for the camping that I'm doing at the weekend for my rest day. So I thought, okay, let's book that now then, quickly. And they've sold out on the Saturday, so I'm just thinking, oh my word. And you know, if I was loaded with money, I could just book a hotel, but it's so expensive on a Saturday to book a hotel in Hereford. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I would quite like to have my rest day in Hereford just because they've got the outdoor shop there, and also it's just a bigger town that's got more facilities. It's even got a laundrette. So and also I wanted to go to a church on Sunday morning that I wanted to check out. So I'm just a bit like, well, do I have to rejig the whole of that part of the trip? Because I'm also camping in Monmouth, and that was only sorted last week, and that'll be easy to remove. I won't have a problem cancelling that. But it's just, I've got to sit on this for just another day, I think, just to see what options come about, and then go from there, I think. But it might mean a complete revamp of a few days of my trip, and yeah, I wasn't expecting that. And part of me is just thinking, oh, do I just go home? But it's, challenges come, don't they? I think if every hurdle that came my way I decided to go home, I would never do anything, to be honest. So I think I'm feeling a bit deflated also because I've made the error of, so I've had a shower, great. I'll at least turn up to the indoor skydiving clean after my wild camping last night. However, my hair's still quite wet, and there's a hairdryer over there, so I can resolve that. But, you know, obviously a wind tunnel is the best idea for a hairdryer ever, but I don't think they'd appreciate me turning up with wet hair, so I need to resolve that. I decided to hand wash some clothes. They are absolutely sopping wet, even though I've wrung them as much as possible. Just as well, I haven't completely washed everything, because otherwise there's a potential that I would be turning up naked. So or just with wet clothes on, which again would lead to the problem of going into a wind tunnel, sending water everywhere. It'd be like being in a washing machine spin dryer, wouldn't it? I mean, that would spice up their evening, I'm sure. So yeah, I'm just thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? I feel like this is completely beyond, like, can't I organise everything? But I think I'm taking a step back, going, it was very unlikely that everything would go smoothly given the amount of organisation that's gone, and I would like to think that I'm pretty on it, but there was bound to be some aspects that weren't going to go quite to plan. So let's sit on it and see what comes about. However, yeah, I think it's not too bad. It's coming up to 6 o'clock, so I've got about an hour before I need to head off for dinner, and I'm going to make sure I have some dinner. And also, I want to double check all the other details, because I don't want any more accommodation surprises during the trip, ideally. And also need to watch the safety briefing again from the skydiving place. So yeah, talk about flying by the seat of my pants. It's not really what I was aiming for, but hey, I'm hoping after today I can be a bit more on it with everything, but I'm just a bit frustrated that I missed quite an important part of the trip. But hey, such is life. Well, hello all. I am pretty much ready for my skydiving session. I have managed to dry 2 items of clothes enough to actually wear. That was a fatal error, thinking that this lot's going to dry by the morning. I've got an early start. But yeah, I've confirmed plans with the canoeing. I've definitely filled in all the forms that I need to fill in. Well, that was a little bit hairy, making sure that was done, because I didn't... there's lots of waivers and other forms you have to fill in and stuff, and amongst all of the other stuff, it was quite hard to keep on top of everything. So I definitely am feeling really tired at the minute. I've not had enough sleep, I'm not eating properly, and that's not conducive to healthy living or living an adventurous life. Even an adventure, you need the basics of food, water and all that jazz. So I'm adjusting my plans ever so slightly. So I'm booked into a campsite tomorrow, which is fine. It means it's a bit logistically challenging in that I've got all the buses to get to do the canoeing, and then after the canoeing I'm then travelling onwards to the campsite, but at least it'll have running water and it won't be on open moorland, so I'm not likely to get blown away or particularly worn out by having to do all the wild camping type stuff that's additional, because it is, as much as I absolutely love it, I'm really quite a particular person, so I like to pick my spot. I like to make sure I've got water. These are all things that you kind of need to do. However, I think it takes quite a lot of my mental energy as much as my physical energy. So I'm going to take off the Longmynd wild camp, and I've just contacted a friend, and I'm going through Shrewsbury, however you want to pronounce it, and I've got friends there, so it would make sense to me to stay there, knowing that seeing a friendly face might provide me with a little bit of a pick-me-up, and I should be able to get some decent sleep, and I get to play board games with them on the evening. So I think that would be a really nice way to kind of finish up the week on Friday, and then I can worry about what's going on at Hereford perhaps tomorrow, or just praying that a revelation comes from the sky a little bit, but I've got a feeling that that'll all work out. I think for me the crunch of the issue is, have I overstretched my commitment? Because when I made the plans, I wasn't having such a ME flare up, and I don't want to make myself poorly. So I think having some friends a couple of times on the way down is good. And we're not islands, we're meant to be community and with people. So even though I go off on these solo merry jaunts, especially if it's a bit rough, actually it's really nice to just have some friendly faces and company. So I think that's the update from me. Yeah, so snack up, and I might hope that JD Wetherspoons is free after the skydive, but if not, I feel quite happy. I have got some packet soup, supposed to serve 4 people, so it's I will be eating an awful lot of soup this evening, but I do have bits and bobs, and I think I just need to make sure that when I get into Chirk tomorrow, there's a Dobby's and there's a nice, I think it's a Waitrose cafe or John Little, something like that. There's a really nice cafe, so I can really make sure that I've had something decent to eat tomorrow. And the hotel here hasn't got a restaurant at the minute, but they're giving away free complimentary breakfast in the morning, so I would be mad not to take a croissant with me or something. So things are not as bad as that it feels, but I think it's going to be one of these trips where it's really hard to appreciate each moment when they're so fleeting. It feels it's only when I'm looking back and thinking what I was doing in Berwick-upon-Tweed that I'm having a smile about it. At the time, it just feels like it passes so quick, especially when there's just so much to organise. So, yeah, I think just a bit of sleep and a bit of reprieve will do me the world of good. I am not sure whether going skydiving at 9 o'clock in the evening, which is when I want to go to bed, is a great idea. But hey, it'll freshen up my face. I am not going to look pretty. I think I get a free photo in the package that I've got. All I'm saying is don't have any expectations. I've got chubby cheeks, and I remember what it feels like doing skydiving because I used to have a skydiving license, and I was even flabby then, even though I was fit and healthy. And it amused me then, and I'm even more flabby now. So I'm gonna be amused, I think. I just hope I don't let the side down, because I should know how to do a decent neutral position. And I mean, the only thing is I'm so tired now I can't even remember the name of anything. So like all the turning moves, nope, all gone from my head. So yes, this is gonna be fun. I can't even watch, well, the signal's not great here, so I don't think I can even watch any YouTube videos to go, oh yeah, that's where you put your hand position in order to go this way. I just have to hope that the instructors there will jog my memory quite swiftly. But anyways, oh, mad, absolutely mad. I'm keeping my voice down because it's quite late, it's like 11 o'clock, and I've just come back from indoor skydiving. It's nothing like skydiving in many ways, not how I remember it anyway, but that feeling of wind is definitely, yeah, that definitely reminds me a lot of skydiving. And it's just nice not to have to worry about landing, although I realise that's actually what I miss. That was actually the thing that I really enjoyed about skydiving, was the whole landing scenario, because that's actually more scary than the free fall. The initial fall out of a plane is, you feel a drop, but very quickly you just feel like you're on a cushion of comfort. I wouldn't even say I felt high ever on a skydive. Yeah, so, oh, that was just really nice. The photos were hilarious, as you'd expect. I don't feel like I went for the hamster cheek flap that I was worried about, but the instructor said that I had a very stable neutral position and a good arch, so I think on the certificate that was in expert mode, which I think is good. I feel like that's done well for the team. I couldn't really do very much else, but in the time scale I don't think I was going to be really able to progress into being a sky fairy just yet, and that's probably where I was at in my skydiving, I'm not going to call it career, but hobby. But it was when I got my A licence and was starting to do some formation, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's brought back loads of memories, and I thought I would feel more grief about it, but actually I just feel really grateful that I had all those amazing skydiving experiences, because I've skydived all over the place, all over the world. Wherever I went on holiday, if there was a drop zone nearby, I would be there, and I've had some amazing experiences. I was even able to do a halo jump when I was in South Africa, and I was at a jump site. I was doing a tour, took myself off for half a day and went to the local drop zone, and I was jumping with a load of ex-military, and they obviously were that was their base in terms of where they would hang out. They were ex-paratroopers, and it was clear from the outside that they'd had a career in some kind of sky dancing, whatever. And there's little old me coming along, and I ended up doing a normal jump, and I'm very clinical in my style. My skydiving style is very boring, very much a get the job done in terms of I'm just prim and proper about anything that I do, ideally. And so yeah, when we were going up, so this was the first jump, this was just a regular jump, and you know, you make chit chat, and I was saying I was in the NHS and did nursing and stuff, and I don't know what they were talking about, I can't remember. And I will never forget as we were jumping out, one of the guys was crawling over the plane on the outside like a monkey, and I just wasn't impressed, and I'm not very good at hiding my emotions, and I'm pretty sure I just gave him a disapproving look, and then he jumped and he gave me a wink, so I thought that was quite funny. I think he knew that I wasn't impressed, and he jumped off, so they were absolutely bonkers, a lot of them. And so I did my jump, and I thought I looked very, as I say, my style was quite prim and proper. And so we all landed and was hanging out, and one of the guys said, "Oh, you want good time?" Because he didn't have a English accent. He wasn't using full sentences. He just said, "You want good time?" And I was like, "Oh no, where is this going?" And basically they were like, oh, we're going for a halo jump, you should come too. I was like, okay. And we just have to check that the oxygen mask fits you first. So I was like, this is a bit unusual. I mean, you do a bit of research about these things, but not massively. I knew that you needed some training, but I think, well, anyway, so fitted me with an oxygen mask. But the funny thing was, is they went right to the back of their equipment cupboard, and I always think when anyone goes to the back of an equipment cupboard, that's not a good sign, because that's normally an older item, isn't it? But anyways, they found one that fit, and because I've worked in the NHS and I use oxygen cylinders all the time, in my mind I had this vision that I was going to be carrying this huge oxygen tank up with me. I was just going with the flow, and it was just the most bonkers experience. And yeah, ended up with this tiny little oxygen tank. I was glad, but just wasn't, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. And so we all flew up, and they were like getting me doing these breathing exercises, and bearing in mind that I'm talking to you now, and I even look in the mirror and go, really, you did all these bonkers things? I do not look like the kind of person that's done wild skydiving. However, yeah, it's amazing what you do get up to if you just follow the opportunities. And yeah, so I did all these breathing exercises. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, it's to get rid of nitrogen, but I could be completely wrong about that. But yeah, it's to do with getting rid of gas from your blood, and because you're skydiving from like really high up where you need oxygen, and you get the bends is the issue that you could. And yeah, my main memory was, actually, it wasn't very pleasant at all. Like, it was just one of those experiences where you think, yeah, my body's not ready for this. Perfectly safe. I was in good hands. Oh, the other thing to clarify here, it was a tandem. They clearly weren't going to throw me out of a plane with oxygen. That would be dangerous, but I think they realised that I knew what I was doing. I kind of interrogated them while I was on the first jump about canopies and all sorts of things. So I at least sounded like I knew what I was doing. And they knew that I had a Category A licence, so they knew that the basics were there. I knew what I was signing up for. They knew what they were doing with me. And yeah, it was an experience. And I anticipated when they were letting off the canopy, I knew that was the thing that I remember most, other than the breathe normally, Helen, breathe normally. But you don't, because you've got a face mask on, you just don't get the same freedom that you get from a normal skydive. Put it this way, if anybody thinks that they would like to try a halo jump, I would just say I would not recommend. I felt really sick afterwards, and I just didn't enjoy it. And I think that's kind of the point, because it's something you need to do, I think, a few times before your body gets used to it. It'd be really interesting to know what kind of high you do get from a halo jump if you do it repeatedly, because I imagine it would be pretty epic. But for me, no. They all had a beer afterwards, and I was sat there. I said absolutely nothing, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm a bit of a chatterbox. And yeah, it shut me up. I just wanted chocolate cake. That's all I wanted. So yeah, so I think what am I trying to get through to you guys? So I would say, if you have an opportunity to get a skydiver's license, the way I did it is I took a week or so off and used holiday money, as in the time that I would use for holiday. I chose to do a skydiving license instead, and I was near Headcorn at the time, and so that's where I did my training. And once you've got your A license, it opens up a whole other area of, when you get trained really well, I think, in the UK, and you get lots of variation in conditions, whereas where I've jumped in other countries, the scenery is spectacular, and quite often because it's a huge land area, the conditions are pretty stable, so it's quite easy to jump in. I think actually it's been harder to jump in England because of all the variability of weather than some of the other places that I've jumped in. So yeah, it definitely has brought back memories today. And yeah, you definitely come out of that wind tunnel feeling like, whew, I wasn't expecting to get any kind of feeling really, but you definitely do get a small feeling. But yeah, you're not going to get the feeling of a halo jump or a normal skydive in terms of landing. I just remember my mind always being focused on, oh, this is nice when you're falling, and then you're thinking about, oh, need to do my landing pattern, and then you're holding your nerve until you finally flare, which is where you're pulling on a strap above your head, and it slows you down right before you're landing, but you need to time that really well and hold your nerve and not pull it too early, otherwise you end up dangling and you can get blown about, and it's not pleasant. But I really, if somebody said to me, what was your favourite part of skydiving, it would be that hold your nerve bit as you're landing and before you flare. When you're landing, it does focus your mind on the task, because if you get it wrong, you could end up with broken ankles and all sorts, so that focuses the mind. I had some almost not great skydiving in my student days, but I had some of the most amazing debriefs as a result, and I learnt so much. I think you can tell I'm a little bit passionate about skydiving, and I definitely do miss it. But yeah, my overall feeling this evening is one of gratefulness rather than grief, which I think is really helpful. Just that I've had so many opportunities to enjoy, and it's just amazing. If you follow your nose, or if you just take up opportunities, you honestly never know where you'll end up. Well, certainly if you're me anyway. And so yeah, I really encourage you guys to embrace whatever opportunities you have, whether that be skydiving or not. Just pursue those things that give you a bit of joy. Sometimes I think that's important, to have that balance. And yeah, clearly miss it, but feeling grateful. I was really concerned that I was just going to be blubbering down the camera, because especially after the day I've had and the emotional, I've really messed up planning. I think getting away from looking at my kit and organising has done me the world of good. And also I ate a huge, well actually no, it wasn't a huge salad, but I was very happy with salad and some chicken. So a bit of protein for rescuing my poorly limbs at the minute, and also a bit of greenery. I have missed greenery at the minute, so yeah, I've eaten, I have reminisced about the good old days, and I am about to go to sleep because I've got another long day tomorrow, and I'm looking at all my stuff spread out everywhere and slightly going, However, I'm now getting a bit of an expert at packing up, so I'm hoping that will help. The other thing I'm definitely going to do before I go to bed is do my ME chart. So I think it's important that I keep up to date with that, because I missed it yesterday because I was in a tent in the rain, but I want to make sure that I'm making the effort with that so that I can learn what kind of things are triggering or that are giving me that extra effort that probably I need to watch out for. And I've rabbited on enough, so I will love and leave you and see you in the morning.